part 2, what she says to him. He asks her, do you trust me? And without missing a beat, she says yes. So you can see right in that moment, another great little scene between them, how far their relationship has come, how much it's changed. There was a time that she couldn't even stand to be in the same room with him, and now she trusts him implicitly. Just another step in the road to Damon and Elena. He says, when the time comes, then just trust me, because when the time comes, I know you might not like this, but I don't want you anywhere near this. Which says to me that he doesn't want her involved any farther than this. Whatever happens, he doesn't want her to be there, but he doesn't want her to get hurt. And you don't become aware of this till later, though. So they stash Rebecca's body down in the basement in the cell. And then everybody starts getting ready for the party. Matt shows up looking for Rebecca because he's supposed to be her date. And she's like, oh, shoot, I forgot to tell you. We had to make a quick change. How would you feel about a different date? And of course, I knew it was probably going to be, I was still hoping in my heart of hearts that Damon was going to take her, but I knew that Damon had a completely different purpose for this dance. And him taking her would leave him. Actually, he wouldn't take her because he didn't want her to be there in the first place. So that wasn't even going to happen, which is good because homecoming is just homecoming. I'm waiting for that moment to come during the senior prom, which will happen much later. But anyway, so it appears that she's going with Matt. I think she had most of the audience pretty damn fooled, seriously. So they go to the school to go to the gym for the dance, but unfortunately, the gym's flooded out. Some kind of leak or leaking pipes or something flooded out the whole gym. So they're like, oh God, now the whole night's destroyed. Caroline's freaking out because, of course, it's Caroline. She helped plan the whole thing. But fortunately for them, Tyler had the whole event moved to his house, to his mansion. So he's got, everybody's in there having a party, and I'm kind of wondering, like, if Carol Lockwood knows anything about this, because I don't think she would allow him to have a huge freaking party like that at her house with like 200 kids, probably drinking alcohol underage. No, definitely drinking alcohol underage because I saw Elena drinking a beer. So yeah, I'm gonna guess that they kind of disappeared her for a little while to keep her out of the way. Oh, and if anybody is wanting to know, there's been a lot of inconsistencies with how much the characters have shown up. There's episodes where there was no Jeremy. Like in this episode, no Jeremy. I think that's because they're trying to demonstrate Bonnie and Jeremy kind of being apart. There was a little scene there just before the dance where Elena went to visit Bonnie to talk to her. She felt like she hadn't really been talking to her much, and she knew how, things between her and Jeremy were kind of going downhill. She said, I can be angry with him. It doesn't matter that he's my brother. I thought what he did was really crappy. I mean, it was horrible. She said, I don't condone what he did at all. But Bonnie says, I can't really come to you because no matter what he does, he's still your brother, and you're gonna love him no matter what. You can't ever truly be angry at him. Elena first doesn't know what to make of that, but I think she understands where Bonnie's coming from because it's true. Jeremy's her brother, and even though she doesn't condone what he did, and yeah, she's kind of mad at him for hurting her best friend, she can't stay mad at him because he's her brother. So Elena's not the person that she can go to. But in the past episode, there were a lot of fans that were wondering, where is Liz? Where is Liz? She hasn't been in like hardly any of these episodes. Actually, I just recently found out when I was trolling around on the net that the actress Marguerite, I forget what her last name is, the actress that plays Liz Forbes had a leg injury. Apparently, there's a lot of injuries been going around on set. I don't know what's going on there, but it's kind of freaking me out. Yeah, she hurt her leg, so I think she had to give her some time off so she could recuperate. That's why she hasn't been in a lot of episodes. And strangely enough, actually just a couple days ago, the New Orleans SPCA was having their yearly SPCA event, which Ian, who plays Damon, he's the chair of that charity, and he's always there because I mean anybody that's a fan of Ian knows that he loves animals, and this is his big thing, and he's always there for that. But this year he could not go. Why? Because he got hurt. I was reading that on the SPCA's website. I actually just happened to find that by accident. He got hurt and he cannot fly for at least for a little while yet. It's a good thing that the show is in hiatus right now, so he doesn't have to worry about filming anything. But yeah, he got hurt. Don't know what he did, and his doctor has grounded him for a little while till he recuperates. Weird, isn't it? Very weird. Yeah, but anyway, back to the show. So yeah, they all gravitate over to Tyler's for the party. There's a big band there. It's a huge, free party. And while they all show up and kind of fan out the different areas of the place to, get a good look at what's going on, Stefan's just kind of standing there looking out at the concert where the band is playing. And all of a sudden the band stops playing. And who should show up on stage? Klaus. He was already there, and it makes it very glaringly obvious that the whole flooding of the gym was completely orchestrated by Klaus to move the party to somewhere secluded away from the school. And it wasn't like he would have had to do much convincing on Tyler's part. Because, Tyler is beholden to him, period. As much as he's trying to fight it, he can't. And he makes this very apparent to Tyler. He says, look, I know that you're trying to fight this, but you know that you really can't. So I'm going to tell you right now, if you try anything, if you try to get in my way, you forget you're not the only hybrid here. And he looks around, points them all out, and says, I'll make sure that they kill everybody in this house. Everybody. So Tyler's like, oh my God, I got to get Caroline out of here. Because even though she's a vampire, I can probably defend herself. We're talking about hybrids here who still have a poisonous bite. And he cares about her enough that he doesn't want her to get hurt. So he clues them, and he sort of clues them in that something dangerous is about to go down with Klaus. Caroline didn't initially know about it. I think the rest of them were trying to keep her out of it. Not because they didn't think that she could defend herself, but because they care about her and they didn't want her to get hurt. So he lures Caroline into another room, and they get into an argument because Caroline's tired of seeing him acting like he's all beholden to Klaus and not even trying to fight it. And while they argue, Tyler pulls out a syringe and injects it into her neck. It's a syringe for vein. And she, of course, goes unconscious. Matt shows up. He's like, what the hell did you just do to her? And he's like, relax. It's for vein. She'll wake up later. You need to get her out of here, and you need to get her out of here now. She's not safe. He's like, you didn't have to verbatim her. I was like, look, I didn't have a choice. She wouldn't cooperate any other way. Look, Klaus is going to kill everybody here. You need to get her out. Get everybody else out of here. So after that happens, Tyler leaves that room, and I'm guessing he's walking through the main foyer to go where, probably to find whoever else he can find to get help. And David corners him and shoves him into another room. While this is going on, Klaus sees Elena, and they proceed to have a little conversation. To his eyes, she looks like she's a little bit nervous. She says, no, I'm not nervous. I just don't like you. Now, everybody thought they heard the entire conversation that went on between them, but you'll find out later on that it was only a snippet. while that's going on, Damon and Tyler are in the other room having an argument. Tyler says there's nothing that you can do to stop him. He's going to kill everybody here, you know. And they get into a scuffle. He's like, oh, because I really care. And obviously Damon does care. He's just being, you know, Damon. They get into a scuffle. They vamp out. They fight. Damon pulls the special steak out of his jacket and is about to go after Tyler when Bonnie walks in the room doing her witch thing, giving them both a migraine. And everybody's asking, how did Damon get the steak? In the scene before this, before they actually left the house, when Elena was already gone, Damon and Michael are talking about the steak, you know. Apparently that steak is carved from the original white oak tree, the one that they had burned down because it was the only thing that could kill them. Damon wanted to look at it, but Michael said, nope, nope, nope. This is the only thing that can kill an original vampire, so I think I'll just keep it right here. So he's kind of curious. He offers him some blood, but of course Michael won't drink because it's human. And he says, yo, Kevin told me, or, I mean, they told me that you don't drink human blood, so how exactly did you get by on it? And he says, well, when I originally, you know, yes, I originally had a hand in creating vampires, but the bloodlust was not my intention. He said, over the centuries, I learned to drink from the vampires, not the innocent, which I peg that as well. I'm not trying to sound like psychic or something, but when they talked about Michael before, I mean, I pegged the fact that the idea that he was their father from the moment that they first mentioned him. And when we saw him drink from Catherine, I was like, why would he do that? And it just occurred to me that, well, he doesn't seem like the type of, he goes after vampires. We've never seen him hurt a human. So that obviously means to me that he has no quarrel with them, so he doesn't want to feed on them because he believes that they're innocent. And going from the backstory from what originally happened between his family and the werewolves, I can see, you know, that he really doesn't have a quarrel with them. It was never about humans, it was about the werewolves. So he has no reason to harm them. They're innocent. Peg that one. So Stefan shows up and he says, you honestly think this will work? Because I don't think it'll work. And he says, oh, by the way, Klaus called and, you know, he's already here. He's at Tyler's mansion having, at the party. So it looks like your plan's not going according to plan. And he's like, oh, don't worry, it is. It just doesn't include you. And Michael flashes over and bites Stefan and pretty much sucks him dry. Doesn't kill him. No, just drinks him dry. I'm like, whoa, that's kind of hardcore. Even the look on Dane's face, he's like, I wasn't expecting you to do that. After he drops Stefan to the floor, but you could have just broken his neck. You didn't have to do that. Even through all this, Damon's still concerned for his brother. He was like, he had a look of shock. He's like, oh my God, what the hell are you doing? He says, well, I could have done that, but I didn't feel like it. This dude's pretty freaking sick. Before that, this scene occurs just about right after he wakes up, because when he does wake up, he comes face to face with Rebecca, and they have a short conversation. It was interesting in that you can see the way that Michael is with the rest of his family. He doesn't hate them the way that he hates Klaus. And his sole purpose was going after Klaus in this. He had no quarrel with anybody else, with Elijah or her. And he wants to have his family back. He wants them back in his life. They don't want anything to do with him. Because, as Rebecca had said, he destroyed them by destroying their family, by taking away their humanity, by making them do something that they really didn't want to do.